Okay, I want to show you guys a fix for some evap codes. Specifically right now I've got P0455, which is gross leak or no flow. So in our case it is a no flow. And the reason why is because the charcoal canister took a dump and spread the little charcoal pellets all through the lines and went up here to the top, plugged up the purge valve. So I replaced the purge valve and saw a bunch of pellets and got them all off of there, but we still have the problem. I tried blowing compressed air from here back and it was plugged, no bueno. So there's another connection you can do. Obviously you want to take the line off of the charcoal canister when you're blowing back, but right in the middle of the truck where the torsion bar keys are, there's a connection right there that I'll show you guys here in a minute when we go underneath. And you can take that connection off and blow compressed air towards the tank and towards the front. That'll identify where your clog is. Typically it's going to be this front line. There's a hard line that goes from the back of the intake here where the quick connect goes on, and it goes down on top of the transmission and turns into a metal line, and then it turns into a flex hose, then it turns back into a metal line, and then to a plastic hose with a quick connect. So somewhere inside there all the little charcoal pellets are stuck, and every time I try to put gas in this thing, it just clicks off within just a few seconds. I have to just barely feather the pump to be able to get any fuel, which is extremely frustrating. What we're going to do is we're going to run a new line until I can buy a new hard line, and you need to use some kind of vapor rated hose like Earl's Vapor Guard or a high pressure fuel hose like this 300 psi fuel hose. So I think 5/16 is probably the best size, but I don't have enough of that. So I'm going to run this 3/8. It'll be just fine. Need a couple hose clamps. First thing I'm going to do is start feeding this hose down from the top towards the bottom. Then we'll go down there and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so here is our hose that we pulled down from the top. You'll want to make sure you zip tie it out of the way of anything like this exhaust, obviously. I'm going to route it up above this O2 sensor wire. We can zip tie to that hole right there, and then we'll run up high over the top of the transmission, and we can zip tie to these lines right here. So this line, this one right here, this is the factory one. So we're going to follow this back until we get to right here. So this is the problem line. That's the one that comes back from the tank. This is the one that's giving us a problem. It goes from here, snakes all around, turns into metal like I said, and then it's that hose right there with that corrugated plastic stuff on it. So all we have to do is run our new rubber hose to this right here. You're going to need to take off this plastic fitting. Go ahead and stick it in this piece right here so you don't lose it. And then we'll put a hose clamp on it. And then, like I said, make sure you zip tie everything up and out of the way, because obviously your drive shaft is here and you have hot stuff and everything. Okay, so we've got our new rubber line clamped onto the line that goes back to the tank. Make sure you blow yours out and clean it up. You don't want to suck all these pellets, if there are any left in that rear line, up to your vent valve again. And then we have our line zip tied to the original ones, way up on top of the transmission there. And then this is important, hopefully you can see this right up inside there. That little S piece is the bracket that holds these lines. You want to tuck that rubber line up between there. That way it keeps it far away from all the exhaust and all that kind of stuff. So now we just got to go up to the top of the truck. I will show you. I just tucked the other line down into that heat shield. You can do whatever you want with it. Obviously it's bad and it's clogged up. So we're up here at the top, and what we're going to do to adapt down to this small line is I'm going to use a 5/16 brass barb. Don't use plastic if you do this. You can do this a bunch of different ways, but the point is you need this hose to attach to this right here. So if I would have used 5/16 the whole way, we wouldn't have to adapt it. I just didn't have enough. So we have 3/8. But a hose clamp on a 5/16 barb will seal up just fine. So I'm going to put it on right here. I will stick the brass barb on the 3/8 with a hose clamp, and then I'll use a small piece of 5/16 line to go from here to there. Okay, well that's going to do it for this repair. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. All we have left to do now is clear the code, and now we can put some fuel in this thing. without having to stop every couple of seconds.